Hello, good morning, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are listening in from. We are so excited to have you back. We have a very exciting guest today, Ella Katz, creator and host of Taller Toddlers, street interview show and podcast. Ella, welcome, welcome, welcome.
God,
How
thank
are
I
you?
guys. I can't not laugh at myself at these tooth gems. It's truly jarring. I feel
I
like
can't even
Alyssa,
see it from
Wait, I
here.
love them.
they are just beyond. But thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I'm in like a very crazy yet grounded energy right now. So I feel like it's a
Love.
good, you're catching me at a crazy time in my life. So we're just gonna get into all the things.
I love it. Well, yeah, we can get right into it. I think it's just funny if the audience understands how this all came to be. So, for a little bit of background, I discovered Ella through TikTok. And one random day last week, I saw that Ella commented on one of Allie's TikToks. And I was like, huh. So I text Allie and I'm like, how do you know Ella Katz? One thing led to another. They worked together at Project Healthy Minds. And now we're here. But Allie, if you want to explain a little bit of your background with Ella.
Totally. So I'll never forget this, Ellen. I don't even know if you remember, but one of the first events that I ever went to for Project Healthy Minds was the Peter Tunney art event. And I
Yes.
didn't know
Yeah,
anybody.
of
It was
course.
before I started. I was so nervous. I came from my other job and left early to come to this event. Ella came out of nowhere in her like super cool, funky glasses and jewelry. And she was like just introducing herself. We played the whole Jewish geography game, ended up having a million mutual friends. From the start, Ella was just one of the first faces of PHM that made me feel so comfortable, so excited to work with her. And ever since then, we've just become amazing friends, even though she's only there part time. I literally would say to Ella every time she comes in, like, I love when you're here. Can you come more? Because she's the best vibe, best energy. And we've had incredible conversations similar to the ones that me and Kendall have even had. And for some reason, I had never made the connection or thought to tell Ella to come on the podcast. But then once Kendall texted me that, I was like, holy shit, this would be an incredible opportunity. Like, there's so much overlap in the things we talk about and care about. And so I just thought it would be an incredibly fun opportunity for all of us. Just thought she would mesh perfectly. And I knew also that Kendall and Ella would get along well. So I just knew that it would be a perfect combination. And I'm so excited to have her here. So excited for this conversation. And yeah, so we'll start right off, ask Ella some questions, have an open conversation. And yeah, so first question is for some background on you, Ella. What were you doing right before Taller Toddlers started? Like, just kind of set the scene so that everyone has a good picture of who you are.
I was crashing out. Because I'm 2 years ahead of in school of you both, even though we easily could have been in the same grade. I think once you pass like whatever it is, 23, 24, around there, you start realizing that there are 35-year-olds who seem like 21-year-olds and 21-year-olds who seem like 35-year-olds and then all the in between. And also just have to echo your kind words that you both said because Allie, have loved working with you, and I know it's only the beginning for us. And Kendall, like, I started seeing this blonde girl with amazing skin and energy giving like this sparkly wisdom that I would like want to binge. And I was like, who is this person? I
Oh,
need
I
in
love
my
that.
life.
I
So
know
I'm so
it's
excited for that.
crazy to me that this is our first time meeting. Like I
Yeah,
feel like I know you. I feel like I've known you for
I
years.
know. Social media is so weird like that. But anyway,
It's the best.
before I started Taller Toddlers, I was a full-time social media producer at ABC News, which was my first job out of college. I was there for about 3 years. And it was one of those moments where I was everything on LinkedIn and on my resume and in coffee chats sounded perfect, but I was all pretzeled up inside. There was no alignment. I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't care that what other people thought I was doing seemed cool. I didn't feel that it was cool. I will also say that everything I did there and learned there and the connections I made, 110,000% are why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But I got to a point where I was plateauing, and then that was professionally and personally. I was navigating a weight loss journey in a time when this was kind of the pre the GLP-1 craze, which we can or don't have to get into, but it was kind of in a time where we were in this age of body positivity, body neutrality, which is amazing. but it was kind of embarrassing to admit that you wanted to lose weight, even if it was for health reasons. Now we've swung way too far the other way, and that is horrible. And then I was navigating these thoughts of like, am I gay? So it was all of this, like all of these circulating questions, what is happening, and it was very overwhelming.
Yeah, I feel like it's like going through an identity crisis and everything all at once.
Yeah. And what I then essentially realized, I feel like in the former half of my 20s, I'm 25. And it sounds cheesy, but I've really tried to take these moments of challenge and to be like, okay, this isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. What can I learn from this? And even in those dark moments, and anyone that has or currently works in the news business knows, like, it is no joke. It never stops. It is very hard to detach and turn your brain off. But I realized that and bark, and we pause for the bark. Many of my peers and coworkers were also navigating these big questions about work and sexuality and personal life and dating and money and body. And I was like, okay, well, we're all kind of learning how, and by we, I mean you're this post-grad, early 20s, even late teens for some, we are detaching from our parents. We are figuring out how we want to move through the world, what kind of questions we want to ask, what kind of spaces we want to be in, how we want to show up in spaces. And that is very much like being a toddler, because you learn how to crawl and then walk and then talk and then express yourself and then make friends. And I just realized that our early 20s and beyond that is this collective experience of like this toddlerhood of adulting. And I wanted to talk about that and normalize that.
I mean, you speak so eloquently about it because I think it's something that we learn so much in school, but the one thing we don't learn is like how to tackle life post grad. And it is such a real struggle. I remember I was struggling. I mean, I still struggle here and there, but last year was tough. And I remember talking to friends and being like, oh my God, I feel the same exact way. But no one speaks about it. So I love and I really appreciate everything, the whole sentiment behind Taller Toddlers, and I can't wait to hear more about it. We have a ton of questions. But I mean, it's genius from the creative side of it to holding juice boxes as microphones. Like, it's a genius idea.
And one thing I'll say about no one teaches you how to do life is like, I have a friend who went to a more, whatever you want to call it, progressive, like spiritual school in LA. And the school is Crossroads, and they have a class for their high schoolers called Life Skills. Why is that? Every school in America should teach life skills, and not only life skills, like emotional regulation skills, feel your feelings skills. And that is some of the work that I'm trying to tap into with the show, and then wherever it takes me from there.
It's so funny that you say that, actually, because obviously I'm embarking on this new journey and going back to school and wanting to be a therapist, counselor, life coach, etc. And I talk to my mom constantly about, and she thinks that there's this like perfect untapped market of children who, especially in this like technology, Jonathan Haidt era, have declining social skills, post-COVID, remote, etc. Their parents give them attention and try to quiet them and solve their problems by giving them an iPad, not teaching them how to breathe when they're having a temper tantrum, or how to be kind to people, or how to move their body when they're feeling like jittery or whatever it is, like all of these different things that you're 100% right at a young age. We don't know and we don't learn, but we're learning like chemistry and all these things that like I'm never going to use in my life. And I'm curious, what kind of life skills are you? Is it like taxes and like mailing a letter life skills? Because I also don't know how to do that. Or is it like the more abstract emotional?
It's a question that I am still working through the answer. And this has been a huge part of my adulting, is like me embodying and embracing that like I also don't have it all figured out, both with this show, also with my life. And like that's the whole point. Like that's okay. However, I think at the beginning I was leaning into this energy and motto of like, let's make adulting easier. And the truth is, adulting's really fucking hard. And I think it becomes easier when channel, hold on to, remember who we were then, and we let that inform who we are now, whether that's taking a dance class, whether that's watching a nostalgic movie or like making a pillow fort. I don't fucking know. But on the easier front, yes, I would love to expand the show to more in-person community nights, and we do add midnight, and you know, you buy a ticket or it's free, and we have like pizza and mocktails, and we all sit around the table and do networking and taxes and bills and whatever the unsexy stuff is. Making that easier, I guess, is part of it. But I think for me, it's rooted in normalizing the fact that we are always in this process of becoming. Because if you're not growing, you're not learning and living, and if you're not living, you're dying. So the fact that we say like, oh, we're grown up now, we're all grown up, the growing up is over. No, it's not. You're literally putting yourself at a disadvantage to tell you that we are. And we now have like the research and psychology to back all of this, all these positive benefits of connecting with the inner child.
Yeah,
Totally.
actually, I have a question for both of you because I saw something yesterday that said you're not dysregulated, you're underexpressed. And I was thinking a lot about that. And it was a video of this grown woman and she was like dancing in her kitchen. And I think there's kind of two sides of it. Part of me thinks there's this like creativity shortage because of social media. You're constantly consuming other people's content. And I'm curious for both of you as people who create content and put their ideas out there and also spend time on social media. But on the flip side, using that as an outlet and a tool to be creative and to express yourself, like I think there's this interesting dichotomy of the two. But I think that that's a huge component of it, just us being all just like going through the motions of our day, but not like you said, taking the time to dance or to express yourself and to have joy and pleasure. And there's this like societal pressure kind of like, no, dance like people are watching, don't like let it all out, don't. And so I know that was kind of like a lot of things in one, but curious to your guys' thoughts on just that idea as a whole of like, you're not dysregulated, you're underexpressed. I think we're also dysregulated, but the connection between those two.
I mean, I want to hear Kendall's answer, but yes, 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 and yes. There are like, what is it if you, repression is depression? Like if you hold it in and don't let it out, it will eat you alive. It will lead to feelings of burnout, dysregulation, irritability.
Yeah.
And yes, I think like it is upon us in 2026, the same way we need to brush our teeth and eat 3 meals a day. We need to like express ourselves and have those outlets, whether it's like a writing group or whatever your thing is. And I'm still figuring out what that is for me because I noticed that the social media like drains me in kind of an insane way recently. I mean, Kendall, I want to know how you feel about that because it doesn't seem like it drains you, but it might. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, wow, I've never heard that before. That unexpressed, what was it? Unexpressed.
Repression, like repressing something turns into depression.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is like so factual. And yes, there are times where I definitely get burnout. I feel like right now I'm definitely experiencing that. But what I've learned through this whole social media thing is like I would encourage anyone, if they don't know like where to start with posting on social media because it gets your mind going to just expressing yourself. And it can be really scary to put yourself out there. But when I tell you, like, I have felt this sense of relief. I got my sister to post on TikTok. She took a little bit of a pause, but she said the same thing. Like, it just made her feel so much freer. And yes, I think that there's this dysregulation. Guys, my dog right now, I'm so sorry. I need to interrupt.
Did you see mine before?
Wait.
She's almost about to do
This is a word
Oh my God, I haven't seen her since December, so like I'm like stuck by her right now. But I think there's dysregulation that comes with so many different aspects that are out of our control.
For sure.
So in the things that you can control, if you can express yourself more than you know than you have, you owe it to yourself to do that. And I say this all the time, you are wasting the person you are and the potential that you have by keeping things in that you know you should share with the world. So yes, I think easy. You are dysregulated if you are holding things in, if you are not expressing yourself, because there are things that your soul is telling you to put out there. And if you do not do it, you're going to feel these ways. It makes so much sense.
You're going to feel resentment. You're going to feel totally. One huge thing for me in this past year has been noticing that for me, envy and jealousy is a really hard thing to feel. I don't let myself feel it, and then it just turns into anger and passive aggressiveness and doom scrolling. And for me, it's been realizing like the people and things and shows that I feel that like pang of envy or jealousy, it's actually because I have a part of what they're doing in me that I have not expressed yet or has not come to life. Oh my God, that has like changed the game for me. Like
Yeah.
truly.
Using it as a tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
That's so cool. I mean, obviously, you having this platform are very vulnerable about all the different phases of life, all the different things you go through. And I absolutely love that about you. And I think it's so refreshing because a lot of like people in the social media space are only showing the good things or they're only showing their beautiful vacations. And that's lovely and fantastic. But seeing people actually open up about the things that they're going through gives you like the permission structure, like we say it, to do the same or to know like that it's okay to feel these or do these things. So how do you find the courage to be so open and so vulnerable, whether it's talking about your jaw surgery even or coming out or the body issues that you've struggled with in the past? Like what inspired you to start talking publicly about these things?
Well, thank you for saying all of that. It is not always easy. I think, like from a young age, I was always, and some of it is good, some of it is bad. And I preface that because I was about to say I've always been an oversharer. I think that me like bringing my humanity to the table with a group of friends on a podcast, in an irrelevant TikTok, or even at work, it just like humanizes whatever we're doing, whatever the relationship is. And I think it makes me feel more at ease and it makes everyone around me feel better when they like, when someone you work with you've never seen as a person opens up about their miscarriage or the guy that will text them back or whatever it is, and you just see them more as a person. And I do think that, I am a spiritual Jew, like obviously look at these fucking beads, but I think that I am here. Part of the reason I'm here is really to make people feel and heard and understood, which I would say for both of you is the same. And the only way we can do that is by fully bringing ourselves to that. And I've also just noticed, like you said, it's always scary. I was like, why would I even talk about the jaw surgery? I'm only going to talk about it when I'm on the other side of it. And literally, I posted an irrelevant video hugging my orthodontist, and it got 100,000 views. And you know why it did? Because I captured a spontaneous human moment where I'm really scared to do this big thing. And I also just think like I hope that the lessons of what I'm going through, both to this messy, windy, uppy, downy experience of being a taller toddler, and then hopefully someone sees that and whatever they're going through feels a little bit lighter and easier and softer, and like we can bring a lightness and a silliness to it. Because I have a friend, Dana, who has a podcast called Not That Deep, and some things don't need to be that deep. Some things do. But if we can make light of the pain and the fear that we are all holding, it's like going to be so much better. We're going to like being adults so much more is my 2 cents.
I always knew you were an amazing person, but I can't stop smiling on this right now. I'm serious. Like, you're inspiring me, and honestly, I've had a shit week, so like needed this. This is like fuel to me. It's amazing. Like,
I'm interrupting you because like I literally, and I know Allie's about to start popping up in the same way, but like your videos, you have no idea how they've helped me. And I like will binge it the way I look at like my Brianna Weist books. And you know what? I think that another part of it, in answer to your question, Allie, is like I have to make the content that I want to see.
Totally.
I don't like what my biggest fear in life is, and this, I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way.
Yeah.
My biggest fear in life is becoming unrelatable as my career continues to grow. Because you see these people, these creators, these actors, these comedians, you love them when they're small. and micro and just like sharing. And then when they're at Fashion Week and the US Open and don't engage with their community in the same way, which is natural to happen, it's like, okay, well,
True.
that's less relatable. And I just think that we are seeing, whether it's a day in my life, like, yeah, I care about protein in a nutrient-dense breakfast, okay? You should have seen the way my eggs just looked on top of my lettuce. It looked like spaghetti bolognese, but eggs. But you know what? I got the protein in. It wasn't pretty. I didn't post it. I shoveled it down until 9:02 and clicked join Riverside. But like, that's fucking relatable, honestly. And the more we see this and compare, which I do too, to this unrelatable, unrealistic standard, we are going to suffer if we're not already.
Yeah. So interesting, because I've been thinking a lot about this in terms of dating, and I know you're both in relationships, so you might not relate as much.
I was single for 5 years. I will definitely relate. I've dated men and women. Throw it at me.
So I listened to a podcast. I want to say it was Mel Robbins, but maybe it wasn't. Can't remember. But they were saying how a lot of people are not having the experiences that they want in dating because they're not showing up as themselves. They're showing up the way they would for an interview, and they're saying, like, they're just saying what they think the other person wants to hear. And then they wonder why the person doesn't call them back, because they're like, oh, that was just a fucking robot. And like, I had that experience recently, and I've been testing being my full self and actually being honest, and when someone asks me a question, really answering the truth. And so I was on a date a few weeks ago, and this boy was asking me like what I do in my free time, and instead of just being like, I go to Pilates and read and listen to music, which is also true, I was like, no, actually I meditate every morning, and I journal, and it's like talking about being an anxious person, all this stuff. I was really honest and was like, I'm not gonna sit here and just say the things you want to hear. Like, I'm just gonna see how you respond when I tell you the type of person that I really am, because if we're gonna be together, you're gonna find out at some point. So surprise, here I am on the first date. This is me, and I'm gonna use this as kind of like a therapy session and tell you that I had a really fucking shitty week, and that someone said this at work to me and pissed me the fuck off, and like, how are you gonna handle it? How are you gonna respond?
I know what week this was.
I'm learning how to do that and be open. Luca! And I'm open about the fact that my dog is fucking annoying. I'm going on mute so you can respond.
No, I want to hear Kendall's response, but I am so glad that you brought that up, because that it is what you just said of, I don't know if it's working. It's absolutely working, because you are dating with high self-worth. And every time you close a door to someone and say, you know what, the fact that you even approached the date and said, you know what, I'm going to be my honest self, and I'm actually going to listen to if I'm even attracted to these things that he or she is bringing to the table. I used to do this test. I've played around with being sober for years. I have a little voice in my head. I think one caveat, like interruption, I have such bad ADD, you can tell.
So do I.
I think it's really, really important for all of us, especially in this toddlerhood of adulting, but 40s, 50s, beyond that, we have to listen to ourselves and get quiet. And if we don't, the world is so loud. Social media is so loud. You have to be intentional about meditating, journaling, walking, whatever it is, to listen to like what your gut is telling you. I bring that up because I've had a gut feeling, voice, kind of repetitive whisper in my head that I should be sober. I have never had like substance abuse issues. I just notice higher anxiety when I drink a lot. Allie, we've talked about this. When I was single, this was probably early 2024 after doing Dry January. I had a period where I went on a series of dates, and I treated them like little tests. Like, I'm going to see if I can go on this date and not drink. That is so scary. The date was drinks. I didn't even say, and I'm not going to over-explain before. I'm going to show up as myself, and I'm going to get a fucking Diet Coke with a lemon, and I'm going to see what they say. And this one guy, before I even knew what was going on with myself, this one guy, super nice guy, was like, oh, great. Like, he did not care. And I was like, okay, great, because I would personally not want to be with someone who cared if I did drink or didn't drink. So again, it's a lesson in, I think the way you're approaching dating is how everyone should be approaching dating. Because if you chameleon yourself in the beginning, that's what creates problems later on. 100%. Then you're like, this is actually me. And they're like, no, it's not.
Right. And I think the same thing goes for every kind of relationship, every friendship, every person that you meet. Like, you would rather be hated for who you are than loved for who you're not. And that's just what it goes back to every single time, you know, like, why are you I'm going to put the words, I'm going to give you the words right back, Allie. Why shrink yourself, literally and metaphorically? I use this in my brain every single day now to please someone else. Like, you're not here to do that.
No.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's scary to put yourself out there raw, vulnerable, because I think social media, going back to Ella's point, has done something very detrimental where there are these unrealistic beauty standards. And these men are seeing, or women are seeing, these unrealistic standards. Oh, this girl has perfect plated eggs and she goes to Pilates and she does this and she does that. Well, that's
When you
not
say perfect plated eggs, I thought you were talking about her boobs. Sorry.
I did too, but I just went along with it.
Had to just say that because I literally expected you to say it.
Wait, is that a saying? Is that a thing?
No, but let's make it one.
Because we were talking about body and then you said perfectly plated eggs and I was like, oh yeah, boobs.
I'm obsessed with it.
That's
We're
really
using it now. Both.
Sorry,
Both,
I didn't
honestly.
Yep.
But yeah, and it's like, that's not attainable. And so, Ella, going back to your point of being relatable, that is so important, because whoever is following you wants to feel like there's someone similar to them. That's why they follow you. You know, they want to feel like they can relate and they could be heard. So yeah, Allie, you're doing what a lot of people aren't doing. And honestly, use it as a tool once again. Like, if they don't want to be with you, thank you, next.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's the mentality that I've had. And to your point, Ella, about testing not drinking, I think about that constantly because a big obstacle for me in dating is that I don't want to drink on a Tuesday night.
So don't.
And the standard is a boy asking you for drinks. That's my situation. I wish people would ask to go for a walk or go for brunch on a Sunday or, like, I don't know.
So first of all, you have the opportunity to say, oh, I actually can't do Tuesday night. Would you be down for, do you want to get like coffee and lunch or whatever on Saturday? Something that works.
What I've been doing is I ask them if they want to go for drinks, that's fine. But then we're going on a Friday before I'm going out to meet my friends. So I just have like a pregame before I go out.
Which is fine. And I've done many of those. But my question is, here's what I care about. If someone told you on a date, if a guy told you that he didn't drink, or if he messaged you, let's say you asked him out or you met him and he was like, actually, I don't really drink, so could we do Friday coffee or Saturday lunch instead?
Love.
Wouldn't you find that incredibly attractive?
I would be like, oh, you're my husband. I found him.
So don't you want to be with someone who would find you saying that incredibly attractive?
Whoa.
So think about emulating like the parts that you find attractive in people.
Yeah.
Example for me, like, I, not romantically, but like energetically, like love like people with like a lot of jewelry and just like whatever. And it's because like that's how I choose to express myself. Also, when I was coming out, I started wearing like basketball shorts and like dressing super mask. I'm attracted to that. I don't wear that, okay? But we figure it out. My point being, like, if you say what you find attractive and you bring that to a situation, the right person will find that attractive. I literally promise. I promise.
100%.
Fantastic advice. 100%. And I guess on the flip, if I said like, oh, instead of getting drinks on Thursday, can we get coffee Saturday morning? And they were like, no. Then I'd be like, okay, that's a great filter. Oh my God, wow, my life has just changed.
Yay.
Going back to what you said about the interview, and then I want to talk about Ella, sexuality, all the things.
Talk about it all.
But Allie, you shouldn't be the one who's being interviewed. You should see if they fit into your boxes.
For sure. Like Lily, for example, will ask people on a date. Sorry to put her on blast over here, but she'll ask a guy, what part of the burger are you? Are you the bun? Are you the patty? Are you onions? Are you aioli? Are you the avocado? Are you the lettuce? Are you the bacon? Are you the cheese? Like, it's such a random question. Okay. But like, I like having conversations like that and like talking about religion and philosophy and nature and like life, not just like, so where's your office? Like, no, I don't care. Literally don't care. And that's just a deeper conversation to be had about like the level of connection that we're allowing ourselves to have. And it goes back to just being vulnerable and honest and having these great conversations. I think a lot of it is because of the dating apps too, because it just feels like you're shopping and you're just swiping, whatever, and it has become so transactional, but it shouldn't be. And I wish that people were able to date more intentionally and really think about it the way that I do, of like exploring things about yourself and about other people. And every date you go on, even if it's the worst date you've ever been on in your life, you learn, okay, that's not something that I like. That's not something that I want in my future
Great
partner.
date or great story. I have so
Exactly.
many stories, you guys have no idea, and I'm so grateful I do. They're going into my screenplay, okay? Like,
I love that.
great date or great story. It takes the pressure off of it. And sometimes you meet someone who is, oh my God, they're not right for you, but their best friend is. Like, it's just, yeah.
So true.
I
Someone
love
said
how
that.
you're approaching dating, though. I
Yeah.
love how you're approaching it. I think you're doing all the right things. And I think that also just getting into more spaces, whether it's like you go to a podcast convention or you go to Othership or you go to your favorite coffee shop, you will attract and meet those people if dating apps are overwhelming for you in person. And like then it doesn't have to be so forced because you already have a shared interest. And that can happen. You're just telling yourself. Many people tell themselves like it's 2026, that doesn't happen anymore. I walked into a party and saw my girlfriend and like knew that I was gonna fucking marry her. Like,
So true. Can you tell the story?
I need to hear more. I want to hear all about your coming out story, how you knew, when you knew, all of it.
so, you know, tooth gems aside, I don't know tooth gems.
I really can't see them still.
But, you know, I was straight until I wasn't, is the short of it. And the long of it is, and it's so crazy to like have now done so much of like this inner child healing, and I'm deeply obsessed, which we will offline about, with To Be Magnetic, Lacey Phillips. If you guys don't know, her process has completely changed my life. But going back into my inner child and just remembering like experiences and fantasies and kissing friends, and then like my mom being like, that's normal to like want to like touch your friends. I'm like, no mom, like that's not. Like that's not, that was gay. Like that's not. So yeah, it was for me with my attraction to men, which I have dated some great guys, but it was always this obsession with validation and with them wanting me, them liking me, which I also think is something that a lot of straight women struggle with, and where I challenge them to try to flip the script. In June of 2023, oh my God, I haven't told the story in a while, but I'll make it short because there's so much more to talk about. In June of 2023, I was at a spin class and met someone on the bike next to me who quickly became a friend. And then I quickly realized that I had deeper feelings than just a friendship. And people were kind of like, well, how did you know? I have so many close female friendships. This felt so different than anything I'd ever experienced. Also, like, if they bring up astrology, if like there's all these like signs that are funny that we can joke about later, but she was kind of my awakening. And she kind of was like, acknowledged what we had. I basically came out to her at Bubby's. I was like, hey, this is super gay. I have feelings for you. I've been going on dates with men all summer. I don't really want to see them. I want to see you. I get drunk. I think about you. So like, can we like do something about it? And she basically was like, yes, it's all here, but like, I'm not like, I can't do that. And I was like, awesome. So
Does that she wasn't there, meaning she wasn't ready to be fully out and in a relationship?
Yes, and she now has a boyfriend, and I will not label her sexuality for the purposes of this conversation, but I know it was there. And that was another lesson in me. And like, I didn't actually need her verbal validation of whether it was real or not. I knew in my core it was real. I felt it and she felt it. So then it was this whole journey of like, at the beginning, and I think many women and people coming out have this experience, like I just thought it was about her. I was like, it's just, we'll call her Jane. Like, it's just the Jane stuff. Just about Jane. I only like Jane. I still like guys. So then I started kind of dating guys after, and then at this time was also kind of starting GLP-1 medication, which absolutely changed my life. We'll have a whole nother episode to talk about that. And so I'm starting to kind of feel just like really good in my body, and I'm dating men. And again, these are like nice men. Everything is a green flag, like attractive and smart and cool and cultural and whatever. And it just like didn't feel like right. And so by the summer of 2024, I like went to a gay bar in Brooklyn with a friend and just like sent it, and then had my first experience, which also like to have your first like sexual experience, that's like the defining moment of like, do I like this or is it just in my head? there were a lot of things for me to work through, both like by the way I look, people thinking it's just a phase, people thinking you're just horny, people thinking you just haven't dated the right guys. And I was told a lot of that. And a lot of that was kind of what I had to work through and detach from, and just trust like that guiding voice and knowing of ultimately just like what feels good in my body and what feels like tight or forced or pressured. By the fall of 2024, was in my first relationship with a girl that was about 5 months, which in lesbian timeline is like 8 years. And then it was interesting that after we broke up in January of 2025, I did dabble with men a little bit after that. Again, very spontaneously, I met this guy on a plane. So it wasn't like I was looking for it. And I was just letting myself not put myself in a box. Like, even now, like, yes, I feel lesbian, I feel gay. That is what I say. That is my truth. I'm in Clara's apartment. However, like, is there a universe in which like there's a man I could be attracted to? 100%. And so I think it's important with it to not label yourself too much. But for me, the label has helped me just make sense of myself and how I identify in the world. However, I do think the fact that I'm gay is the least interesting part about me. And I talk about it because I talk about anything in my life. That's obviously who I am. But I think I'm multifaceted, and we all can be multifaceted. And there's so many parts of me that contribute to like who Ella is. So that's kind of the story. And then almost a year ago, in May of 2025, I walked into a friend's birthday party and I saw Clara, and I just knew. I swear to God, I just knew. I literally like...
Wait, did you speak words or you saw her?
I spoke words. I was being chaotic because if we remember, the night before I dropped this Louis Vuitton chocolate purse that had gone like quite viral.
Ella, that video.
I know. The chocolate purse.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You have to go watch this video. It is the funniest thing in the world.
It's a crazy thing. I broke my roommate's chocolate purse. So I was being like chaotic. And she has this very, like, Allie's met her briefly, just like grounding energy, and I was like immediately attracted to that because everyone, guy, girl, whatever I dated up until then, was very, and it just like it just wasn't working because I'm a little more like that, obviously. And then it kind of progressed, and I was actually like seeing another girl, so I had to kind of like work that out. And then by July, Clara and I were just, it was just so in and good, and just the type of love that I just like didn't even know I could experience in this lifetime. Like, I mean, it really is out there for all of us. And one thing I tell like my friends who are, really fixated on dating or feeling a lack, the things that I like, this morning I went to Othership and I came back and I brought her a coffee and flowers because I've been being insane before this surgery, and I was just like, I love you and I want you to know how much I love you. When I was single, I was like, what are all the things that I want someone to do for me in a relationship? I want them to bring me this, or sit with me and watch TV, or write me a card and leave a Post-it note on the fridge telling me to have a good day. As crazy as it sounds, like I would do that for myself. And now that I have someone else doing it for me, because that created like this vessel and container of just like deep, deep self-love and self-worth that I had to work on, but it got there. And so then to feel it from another person is even more beautiful. And I'm not someone who feels like she's my other half. I'm like, no. I'm at 100 without her. She's at 100 without me. And we bring each other to get to 2,000%.
I love that.
So that's kind of where we are now. And one other thing I'll say on it, sorry to keep talking, but I was someone, I'm a Virgo, so I set very like rigid rules for myself. And I was like, well, my career's going to be my focus, and I'm not going to meet someone that I would marry until I'm 30. Like, there's just no way. And, who's to know what the future holds, but I do feel that that could be my life now in our reality. It's like, just be like, I've tried to soften with myself. Like, as I get new information and meet new people, like, I can change my opinion. Like, in 2 years, if Toddlers becomes taxing or I'm not feeling it anymore, okay, I'm gonna pivot and do a different project, and like giving yourself the freedom to do that in dating, but beyond dating, not forcing friendships. Like there's all these areas where we can do that. But yeah, that's like a fraction of the story, but you know, that's kind of the framework.
I love that. And I think it's important that emphasis on just living and feeling intuitively and not putting too much pressure on yourself to fit into a box and just kind of being and see what you attract and see what attracts you and not putting that pressure on yourself. Because honestly, once you add the pressure, you're not in alignment. And I think that you put it so perfectly.
Thank you.
And I love that you also said being gay is the least interesting thing about me. Because you do have so much more to who you are. And I think emphasizing or putting so much emphasis on your sexuality for people out there who maybe don't know how to identify or who they like, putting too much of an emphasis on it will make it so much scarier because it is the least interesting thing about you. Like, love who you want to love, be who you want to be. And I think that leads to my next question is, if you could give any piece of advice to anyone out there who's currently struggling with their sexuality and struggling to maybe come out or face who they truly feel that they are, what would you say?
Oh my God, what a beautiful question. I've actually not been asked that before. You know, I think that A, find someone to talk to about it. B, know that if you have that like gut kind of feeling and wondering of what could be there, and again, like, take it from someone who the first time I had sex with no penis present, I was like, what is happening? You're like, what is this? Like, I was like, we didn't just have like that. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, no. Because you think about how we've been taught what this act is, how you would define, not to get so, I'm not going to be some like sex therapist, but like how you would define what it is. It's supposed to be this act of like, basically giving and receiving pleasure, if you will. But we're taught it's just about like when he finishes, you know? And like the advice is to be like open with yourself and give yourself like the room and the space to like explore and play and like wear different types of clothes if that feels right to you. And like go into new spaces. If you don't have a lot of friends that were gay, as I didn't, and still have predominantly straight friends, meet some people that are gay. And I was so scared. I was on dating apps at the time. I met my ex-girlfriend through a dating app. I was so scared. I was like, what are people going to see me? What are people going to say? Because 100%, I know that sometimes there have been conversations where my name comes up and someone's like, Ella Katz, oh, isn't she gay now? Yeah. Okay. That at the beginning made me so uncomfortable. I was like, you know what?
Especially while you're still figuring it out yourself.
They can say whatever they want. They're wasting their life talking about mine. I feel aligned in what I'm doing, so that's okay. So that wasn't coherent advice, but I think it's just like trust. Really trust yourself that you're not crazy, nothing's wrong with you. And if you listen to that voice, what is waiting for you on the other side of this exploration that is not linear. What's waiting for you there is like the most beautiful life you could ever imagine, ever. So
I love that, Ella.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for you and I'm so proud of you. And I remember, I mean, the time, like when I started end of May, and then it was like right after that you had like officially come out and like been using those words, and like it was so incredible to see you embrace it fully and just be like, no, this is who I am and I'm showing up as my real authentic self. And I know the relationship that you and Claire have is so beautiful, and I'm still waiting for a loaf.
Oh my God, there's probably loaves behind me. I'll give you both loaves and stones and all the things.
I love it. Absolute power couple. You guys are amazing. Question for you, because I know you mentioned, which was really interesting to hear you say, like if in a few years toddlers becomes a stressor to you or it changes form or whatever, like you're letting it happen. But at this point, just out of curiosity, where do you see it going in the next 5 years? And also, if you could have anyone on who would dream guest, dream conversation, what would that be?
Great question. I see it, I'm trying to it's really easier said than done. I'm not good at it, which is why I keep saying it to try to make myself do it. I am really trying to detach from the outcome as much as possible. That being said, oh my God, I want it to turn into whether it becomes, a much larger scale podcast interview show, more than the format, I want it to be a place that people come and like it becomes a part of their morning routine to listen. And it feels like what To Be Magnetic or Kendall's content or whatever books feel for me.
Yeah.
If I can create that for other people, that's the goal and the dream.
Amazing.
In terms of dream guests, I mean, Drew Barrymore is
Love.
has to happen. It will happen. I know he was just canceled, but I'm a Timmy stan through and through. Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine. Also Stevie Nicks, I would like die to interview.
Oh my God.
But then also I think more like Lacey Phillips from To Be Magnetic would be like phenomenal, because we would have a conversation that would really help people. And I believe in her practice, and I think in a dream world, again, we don't do that much long form right now, but we're going to start doing it after surgery, and when I say we, I mean me. Doing, like having an episode that becomes a part of someone's Monday morning ritual or practice. I'm not there yet, but that's the dream. And yes, short form content, bingeable content, snackable content, but like I want to create something that people want to spend time with and that gives people their happy juice and that sparkle feeling. And I know I can do it. I'm just figuring out how.
Yeah.
So that's the plan and the goal, but also who knows?
You're my night. I don't know if you got my comment notification late last night. You're my nightly binge person. Just so you know. I saw the chocolate first thing last night at 1:30 in the morning.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God, I was
Allie, you're in for a treat.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm actually
okay.
That's really funny.
I have one last question for you. We've been doing these we're trying to implement these fun, lighthearted questions. When do you feel like the most like yourself? Sorry, I just glitched.
It's the common denominator is that I'm never wearing makeup. Anytime I'm not wearing makeup, number one.
I actually feel.
Number two, having any type of human connection, face-to-face conversation like this is just such a gift. And, sharing my wisdom, processing my shit live, it is just how I feel. Also endorphins from working out and dancing and spinning and stuff like that. But I think the most recent one, we talked about this earlier, is just when I can get still and just sit and just see what comes up, whether that's with the guided audio or sunlight or like my little red light mask, whatever you have to do, just sitting. I am not someone who used to be able to sit still at all. I couldn't even do Shavasana in yoga. And now I feel crazy if I don't take the time to do it. So I think that's a time where I'm just and then you have that moment where you're like, Ella, we're here. Here, I feel you. I fucking feel you, girl. So, and then when I'm writing the screenplay. We're going to see what happens with that. I want to start a Substack. So I think writing I don't let myself write enough, and I would like to do more of it the rest of this year. So that was a lot, but.
Huge proponent of you starting a Substack. You know how I feel about Substack.
You guys have a Substack? You have a Substack.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Love.
It's not too active right now.
I want to tell you, I did a meditation this morning that I'm going to share with you right after this. That
Please.
The concept of it was who is meditating, and it's about getting into your body and kind of observing it and the feelings while you're meditating, as a human being. I'm going to send it to you. It was amazing. I know we're past time, but we could sit here and talk about forever. But thank you so much, Ella. This was so much fun. Literally, therapy session this morning. Fantastic.
I hope so.
You're incredible.
For me too.
Good. So glad.
I know I want to talk more. I actually am going to. I have shoots, but I'm going to Louis Vuitton to shoot a 1-year chocolate purse thing. Psychotic.
I love that.
But thank you guys so much. This was truly beyond.
Thank you.
And let's obviously stay in touch on all the things because I'm so cheering you guys on.
Right back at you, girl.
I think what you guys are doing is so important, and I think there's a lot of people creating you get the pop culture podcast, and it's they're we're hot girls and we don't really take care of ourselves, and I'm just I have to. So, but anyway, thank you guys so much.